Why is it upside down?
The teachers, the teachers, the teachers, the teachers.
My brothers and sisters of color, we gotta do better. No survival in this era if we turning on each other. Like a family reunited, they hate it when we together. Now let's talk about it. Listen to the teachers, let them tell you. You want facts behind your questions, Dr. Rick, give them the answer. Followed by wise words, introducing Dr. Michael Blanchard. Many guests and activists every week leading by example. When there's problems, there's solutions. Together we are the answer.
The teachers.
Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Rick dropping in along with my colleague, Dr. Michael K. Blanchard. Together, we are the Teachers. Our guest today is Mr. Robert Upton, whose stage name is Kid Conscious. He was brought to my attention by Dr. Blanchard. So I'm going to let Doc take the lead on this one, and I'm going to sit back in the cut. And we're going to let it roll. It's on you, Doc.
All right. Good morning, everybody, all the Teachers listeners. We have Robert Kid Conscious Upton here. He has played in several programs like Chicago PD. He's been in Gatorade commercials, The Exorcist. He's played on Broadway. He's played on The Chi. Robert, it's great to have you, man. We met probably about a week ago at the King of Pop's house. And if I know everybody knows who the King of Pop is, right?
MJ, all day.
Exactly. Not Michael Jordan.
No, not that Mike.
Yep. So, Doc, we met at the King of Pop's, myself and a special friend of mine who I was taken up there to see Michael Jackson's house. We ran into Robert and his mom, Gloria, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Yep, his mom's Gloria. And she played an incremental role in his upbringing and everything. And we got into a pretty good conversation about, what it takes to raise particularly young black men and keep them focused. And so I asked him to come on the show because I thought that he would be a good inspiration to young people. Because everybody today, when you ask young people in school, what do they want to be? 9 times out of 10, they're going to say a rapper or an entertainer or even something in sports, right?
Yeah.
But they don't realize, Doc, the sacrifice and how much work you have to put in to get where Robert is right now. So I wanted him to come on and explain to our people his journey and what it took for him to get into the field of acting. But also, he's doing 2 things. He's, a lot of times people go from acting to music. Some go from music to acting. LL is one of those that went from music into acting. You're doing them both at the same time. Same time. You're trying to build an entertainment career in acting, and also you're trying to build a career in hip hop.
Yeah.
So just a little bit about your upbringing in Chicago. You're from Chicago. You started acting at the age of 9, doing plays, and that kind of started you off. So give us a little bit background on your.
Growing up, okay, so my family is very connected to entertainment in general. My cousin Lorenz Tate used to have these yearly reunions where we would all get together, and he'd bring a lot of celebrities and things of that sort around us. And I think that was the first taste of wanting to be a celebrity, was when he was having events here in Chicago at the Martin Luther King Center. after that, I asked my mom if, being on stage was something for me. At first, I think she thought it was a joke, but I took initiative myself at school to put myself in programs because I really, really, really wanted to express my talents on stage. And I started doing plays and hosting events. I started doing that way young, first, second grade, third grade. And then once she saw I had a talent for it and people loved me on stage, my mom's like, you know what? Let's get you trained. Let's get you ready for it. And, she starts to put me in a lot of different programs, competitions and everything, Nothing really comes out of it. The most I got during those years was I did actually crazy how we met. The place that I got my first recognition was Michael Jackson's event. He had an event where he was having a charity event, and at the time I wanted to be a hip hop fanatic. Like I wanted to rap and dance and all that. So I had the Michael Jackson outfit on because I wanted to do the Michael Jackson for his event. And I did it for maybe the first 10 minutes and was embarrassed. Going forward, going to high school, stay in Drama Stars. I meet Mr. Sean Brown from Chicago Fire. If you don't know what that is, you got Chicago Fire is one of the most prominent TV shows we have here in Chicago. Right. She was the secretary, and she was on the TV show for 4 seasons, but she also was a counselor at my high school, Kenwood Academy. Wow. And because I went through so much mentally and emotionally, when she saw that I was a kid who continuously did the unique thing and was pushed to the side, she came to me and she was like, hey, maybe you should go harder at this acting stuff. And I was like, I do it for fun. My mama put me in it and I like it, but I want to be an accountant one day. Everybody, like you guys are saying, like everybody grows up and wants to be an actor and a rapper, right? Well, right. No, I was scared. That's not how that went down. I had a lot of confidence. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew where I wanted to go. I just didn't know how I was going to get there. And Miss Brown, and God rest her soul, she died in 2017. That woman is the start of my entire career. I cannot say that I would have ever been an actor on television, doing anything for any published sites, magazines, the Herald, any competitions. I would have never done it had it not been for Deshaun Brown. So any credit I give it to God and that young lady. After that, I kind of took off. Okay, I did the August Wilson monologue competition, which was a competition between thousands of students across the nation, around like 200,000 at the time. Right now it's millions. It's even on Netflix now. It's called the August Wilson monologue competition. And at the time, Chicago had never placed. We never placed first, second, third, any of that, And I was a junior in high school. I was not a senior. And long story short, I won the first round, second round, got to the Chicago final. I got second place nationally, got sent to New York. They told me that there was going to be a lot of celebrities there. I didn't know who was going to be there. And then there's the big dog, the person everybody want to be. Denzel Washington walks himself out on stage, gives me a lot of advice, teaches us a lot of stuff for 3 days straight. And then on that third day, we get our awards, and man, I win second place nationally. And I didn't see it coming. I wouldn't have never guessed it. I actually was super humble. I was telling everybody, like, man, y'all too good. Man, I don't know how I made it this far, but it's all God. And the rest is history. Like you just said, Mr. Blanchard, that the rest of my career came from that. Ended up getting an agent, and I'm still working to today.
Wow. So how special is it for you to come out of Chicago? Because Chicago is rough. I'm originally from South Bend, so I spent a lot of time in Chicago. What were you like as a student? And I think I read in one of the stories that you had some bullying going on when you were in school. So a little bit of that.
Yeah. As a
What was that
student,
experience as a student? What were you like?
straight A student. I'm gonna be honest, straight A student, highly intelligent, did not push myself enough though. I think that that's something that I learned over the years. As a kid, I was smarter than most kids. I don't know why. I think it's God given. I had a lot of natural intellect, so taking tests were easy for me. Finishing assignments while I was in class was super easy. Straight A's, only had 4 classes my senior year of high school. I'd say that the type of student I was I always wanted to challenge what I was being taught. I had a very unique way of looking at life. I had been told that I had comprehension problems up all the way up until maybe my sophomore year of high school, and then they told me, "Oh, it's not a comprehension problem. He just literally thinks outside the box." And yeah, so I'd say the type of student I was I am always learning, but at the same time challenging everything that I'm told. I don't think that in any way, if you are a person on this earth, if you know what knowledge really is, knowledge is just it's just intellectual information given to you by someone else's perspective. And I don't want to just fully encompass anyone else's blueprint or understanding. I always try to go off of either God or my own understanding. God first, of course, but but yeah.
So is that? Let me delve into this. So you go by the name Kid Conscious. Explain how you came about choosing that name, because I think you hit on it a little bit right now. But how did you choose that name and why?
Man, I done changed rap names like 10 times.
All right, well, give me a couple of the other ones. You said 10 times. So
10 times, 10 times.
Right, so
At
give
first,
me a couple of the other ones too.
okay, as a kid, I was Big Nate. Don't even know what that came from. Like, I don't know what Big Nate came. I call myself Big Nate because there was this little video game I used to play.
Oh, okay.
It was a
I
big
thought it was
kid.
because you like Nate Dogg, you know?
I love Nate Dogg too. Hey, rest in peace to Nate Dogg. But no, it was a video game on a computer where it's this little big kid. Like, he used to be like 10 feet tall, and they used to call him Big Nate. And I was like, oh, I'm like a big kid, you know? So they used to call us a Big Nate. Then it was Rob Neasy. It was Rob Neasy. And then Rob Neasy turned into Neasy Nims. Then Neasy Nims turned into No More Neasy, Rob Nice. And then I was like, okay, people don't want Neasy, Nims, Rob Nice. They don't like they weren't rocking with it. I was rocking with it. And then what was that? How did I then I called myself Conscious. That was the first time I called myself Conscious. I called myself Conscious because my junior year of high school, I was spitting, and somebody was like, man, you speak a lot of stuff that like really touched my soul. I was like, oh man, I'll be speaking that conscious stuff. She was like, yeah, you could be like Chicago's Common. You know, Common is called Common. And I was like, no, I can't be Common, but you know what? Call me Conscious. And they was like, ooh. I was like, all right, so I threw Conscious on there. And then I was rapping a whole bunch of conscious rap, and people was just like, all right, man, but we also want to get lit to your stuff, man. You're young, you know what I'm saying? We want to, you used to be a kid in a lot of this stuff, like Big Nate, Neasy Nims, Rob Nice. Conscious is cool, but we don't want you to be too conscious. And I was like, So I sat at the house, and I was like, you know what? They're right, because I do like to have a lot of fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, the type of tracks I make are fun. They're upbeat. They're very, even if they have a message, I want it to still be able to be listened to and not have to go, oh, am I learning something right now? You know what I'm saying?
So you started out. You're saying you started out when you started producing the first tracks. They were mostly conscious.
All conscious. Yeah,
all conscious.
All conscious.
No cursing.
No cursing.
No cursing.
Mm-mm.
So what led you to change? Because obviously you did change,
mm-hmm.
Right? You did change your lyrics and the music. When I listened to what you're doing now compared to what you said you were doing earlier,
yeah,
was it peer pressure to do that, or what do you think?
A little bit. I'll be honest. I'm never gonna front my move. Yes. Yes.
Did you get more plays? Did you get more plays from the non-conscious hip hop than you do the hip hop where you are cursing and talking about what's going on in the hood and this and that and some of the dysfunction that we have in the community? A lot of rappers talk about that in their lyrics.
Did I get more streams from the non-conscious music? Yes and no. At first, yes, and that's why I was okay with changing from being 100% conscious. At first, yes, all of my tracks were hitting. If I just repeated the same line, or if I if I had a song that you could just repeat.
Mm-hmm.
But then, yeah, I actually realized that I didn't like that either. Me, myself, like I told you, I don't like to take anyone else's mindset. And that was starting to really eat away at me to the point where I felt like I was selling my soul. So that's why I added kid conscious. So kid came at that point. At that point, that's when I became kid conscious. Because what I realized is that, all right, I can't 100% try to teach somebody. I'm young. I'm very young. I'm not, everyone's greatest idol right now. And that's one thing. However, I do want to still tell the truth, but I also want to have fun doing it. So how can I do that? That is when my tape No Signal was starting to be created. And that's when I became kid conscious and I left conscious alone. Yes, I got a lot of streams from the lit tracks, but I ended up getting a lot of streams from the conscious tracks after that. A lot of people actually started missing my conscious tracks. They got to say, man, you don't spit no more. You don't say stories no more. You just, you just out there nighttime race. You know what I'm saying? I felt a little ashamed. That was 19, 20, about 6 years ago, and I felt ashamed. So yeah, it was a lot of peer pressure.
You felt ashamed of some of the tracks you made?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we all have mamas, right? And we know mamas don't want us using that B word and H word and all those, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I can say it wasn't my mama that had a problem with it. I'm from Chicago, man. My mama from Inglewood.
She didn't have no problem with it, huh?
No. Cursing and stuff is not the problem. It's about what you cursing saying. If you know what I'm saying, even LL curse, even common curses, even a lot of people curse. It's not about cursing. It's not about using profanity. It's about how you are depicting what you want from your audience and what you want them to see. If you want them to see a abusive, drug-ridden dude that just like, oh, I smoke on weed all day and fuck on shorties and blah, 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 and that's what you want to push out, that's one thing. But if you're saying, man, I'm the type of dude that knows how to have fun, but at the same time respect my woman, I can give you a love song, but I can also get lit with you at the what's the name? That's more or less the balance of life. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's all she wanted to teach me. That's all my mother ever wanted to teach me was, yeah, you can have a lot of fun, but you still got to do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? So.
And Doc knows how I am and where I'm at. And the one thing I can respect out of what I've heard so far is growth and evolution. That's everything about it. Doc and I talk about this all the time. And I think what makes me who I am is every day I wake up and realize I'm not there. I've never woke up and said, I'm that dude. I've never woke up and said, I'm the most researched, most written guy on the planet. I'm that dude. And that's just never been who I am. And the people around me, when they're talking, that's the theme. It's like what I can appreciate about you most is when you walk in the room, you're probably the most knowledgeable person in the room, but you're the most willing to listen to what everybody else has to say, because that's how you learn. You learn by understanding that you gain something from everything, but there has to be a desire to grow. So my thirst for learning is pushed by my desire to grow. So I don't want to be the same man tonight when I go to sleep that woke up this morning.
Yep.
That means I've got to engage stuff purposefully.
Yep.
And that's uncomfortable. But if it doesn't take you out of your comfort zone, you're not growing.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah.
And like so I pop in McFly and I immediately hit him. I'm like, dude, my peeps hear this, they gonna lose their freaking mind. And so we sit down, and my thing is, okay, I tell you what, you know the whole story. You lead, because normally I'm the one pop off, they have to shut me up. So I said, I'm gonna sit in the cut. You know it, get to the story. I say, when I get to a point where I'm feeling it, I'll interject because I need to know the story. I don't know the story. The first thing I get to see is this. I say, this can't be where we start. so because like my people will lose their mind. And so we're at a point now, so we understand how we get to where we get. And I understand. I'm 55, you're in your 20s, two totally different perspectives. Even when you're seeing it from a place to where we want to be a positive influence, there's a lot of pressure in the industry. And Doc talk about this. I come from the music industry. I grew up in gospel music. My brother's a musician. My nephew, who's a drummer, also, my brother's like sick with a drum, been drumming since he was 4, never took a lesson. His son is the drummer for Toby. And so, you know, they get ready to go on tour again at the end of the year. But like, so when it comes to it, man, I've had Juvie's kids in my house. You know, that's Doc knows that's a whole nother life I've lived before I got off into this. I've always been the intellectual. I've always been the writer. But that was a time, man. One of my best friends was the road manager for Atlantic. So Trey Songz has been in the house, Sean Paul, all these cats. And like Juvie travels in a tour bus. When he was back then, when he was touring, he traveled in a tour bus. And he kept his kids with him. That's one thing I say about dude. Dude is a family dude. And he said, man, I got a gig at the club, man. Can you watch the kids? So I got his 6 kids at the club with my 6 kids, and I got a whole house full of kids because I ain't doing the club scene. I'm older than them. I'm still out there, but I'm older than them. But I've seen all this, man. I've been in the studio in the 80s. I've been in the studio with John P. Key, and I was just talking to my brother earlier. We hooked up at the cigar shop. And John is about to go on tour again. And I said, man, wouldn't you want to be that dude that's so bad? You just send out a tweet, say, I'm looking for background singers. And by the end of the week, you're going to have about 20 you can pick from that are going to be the baddest background singers just by sending out a tweet. That's who that dude is. And you know, just sit down and come up with a song off the top of your head. And then from him, all the stuff like Kirk Franklin and all these cats flow out of that. And he was the bridge from the Walter Hawkins, the Eddie Hawkins, the Keith Pringles, all those cats in the early 80s. He's the bridge to the cats that we listening to now that has brought the funk into gospel. And so John, but like I'm literally, man, he did a whole album with us. With
he did the whole album.
Yeah, he did the whole album back in the 80s.
I gotta hear this.
Yeah,
I gotta hear this.
The name of the album is I Am Determined. It's on YouTube. I ran across it. The whole album is on YouTube. Okay. It's crazy. That was the church's first album. We was in a community group. Matter of fact, the label we were on, Jew Records and Tapes out of Shreveport, held Southeast Inspirational Choir, which is the choir Yolanda Adams came from.
What?
So we will all be touring together. Yeah. So I mean, like, I grew up in this. So I've seen I've seen it from everything. So when I started Odyssey Entertainment, I put myself out there. And my thing is, I walked away from it probably like 15 or 16, because I was like 15 when we did that with John. And 15 and 16, my athletic ability took over. So my brother, who's he's sweet with the handles and he can play ball, but them sticks, man, he was sick. So he ended up staying with music and doing this thing. He done dropped 4 albums of his own. Just check out G Mays and New Era. He's about to drop another one. They're about to do another one, but he's a drummer. But yeah, man. So this whole thing with me, man, when we talk about music, I've seen the evolution of hip hop from the 70s. I've watched it come up and I watched it lose its identity. People don't understand, and I'm gonna turn it back over to you. Most people don't understand the history of hip hop. People are just, it's rap. No, hip hop was a culture that was birthed out of the destruction of the Black Panther Party and the Black Nationalist Party. When COINTELPRO moved in and disrupted that, when Fred Hampton got killed, when they were starting to send Black Panthers to prison, when Assad and them had to break out and do what they did, they erupted on the East Coast, especially in the New York area, another movement. And this time it was what we needed. It was, there's no head. You can't kill the head and kill the movement. It was an entire cultural evolution of how we talk to each other. That's dope. That's fly. That's bad. But bad, like them say, not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good.
Yeah, that's bad. You're a bad man. You're a bad man. I like that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So
if I was born in that time, I just want to let you know, I would be just like LL. I'll be a pioneer, boy. We'll be in here. Rap quite like.
And like anybody will tell you that L's one of my dudes because he changed that was, like the cats like Cool Herc, Africa about all these cats. They brought it. That was the commercialized side of it with Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah.
Then Curtis Blow was like the dude that anchored it. Then Run DMC just took it to one level. But when L hit the scene,
it was a rap. It was a rap.
It was rap. People talk about the God, and Rakim is the God. MC, that dude is sick. He was decades ahead of his time. But there's no Rakim without L. Matter of fact, Rakim's first travel was on tour with L.
I think you're the first person I've heard admit that above the age of 30. I want to let you know that. I say this, I've said, because I'm a Capricorn, all right? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a Capricorn, and then Rob, you know what I'm saying? So I've always, like, one of my biggest inspirations is LL Cool J, because it's like, to know another dude thinks like me, has the same type of understanding, be licking his lips all day, you know what I'm saying? The type of shit I've always done, you know what I'm saying? And my thing is, like, I watch how he moves. I watch how he does business. I watch how he talks to women. I watch how he even does his wife. And LL is not only the GOAT of rap, he is the, like, first superstar rap actor, in my opinion. If you think about it, before NWA goes off, before all of this stuff becomes gangster rap, you got this dude who already could appeal to dudes in rapping, but also could appeal to women. And then he goes to acting. Yo, like, you guys, like, that is the real pioneer of me.
Most people have never even heard of In the House.
Huh?
Most people have never heard of In the House.
Come on.
Oh, yeah, the show,
Yeah. I mean, like, so before Fresh Prince, because everybody thinks of Will Smith as being that dude that crossed the barriers, but L was already in the house.
Exactly.
And he was honing his skills and doing all of that. But my thing is, he changed how you flowed. For people who listen to rap, he changed how you flowed. And if you see Rakim, you see him take L and then add lyricism to it. And so it was flow and lyricism that he took from it. Then you got a bunch of other cats who come behind it. But the reason that I have LL there, and with me, it's a back and forth with Papa. You got to do any dude that's been dead 27 years and still the #1 all-time seller and still outselling everybody. He was on a different level. But again, he was connected to his mom, Afeni Shakur. His dad's locked up. His godmother is Asada Shakur. All this stuff pumped in his head. There's a story that I watched. I forget the name of this podcast, but it's in a barbershop in Harlem. And these cats are kicking it, and it's cats that they all up in there. And one episode, it was Omar Epps, Big Daddy Kane, and I'm trying to think of somebody else. And everybody was talking about when there were different little beefs going on. Like, Big Daddy Kane used to be with the Juice Crew. And then KRS-One came out and went after the Juice Crew because he felt like they were trying to claim rap, and rap came out of the Bronx, not out of Queens. And so that was this beef going on, and Big Daddy Kane was getting in the middle of it. So it was like, you know, hey man, I want so. But anyway, Omar starts talking about Pop. He said, let me tell you something. He said, when we did Juice, I was 15, he was 17. And he said, man, I'm gonna tell you how this dude was. This dude was just like, his mind was like just way up here, and we would be doing things with kids, and we would do kid stuff, but then he would go off into this place, and I'd be like, man, where you at? You know, he said, and then that was this thing. We were on the set, and there was this story that was popping off. It was on the radio and everything else. A girl had threw a baby in the trash, dumpster, and like, for them up there in New York, man, it was a common thing. So they were like, okay, you know, whatever. And they went on, and Pac, it had him shook. So he was like, hey, what's going on? So they got to talk about it, and they say, hey man, we're going to hang out. He said, man, I ain't doing that. He said the next day, Pac is rapping, Brenda's got a baby. He's gone home, and his mind is taking in what's happening in life, and then he's bringing it back. And he was 17. You got to think, he was 17 when he first made that kind of move. You know, he had been with Digital Underground and did a bunch of other stuff, but his first album was at 18. Between 18 and 25, Pac did everything you see.
Yep.
Between 18 and 25, this dude dropped 700 and something songs.
Yeah.
That right there. But with L, what made L to me, that dude, is how long he stayed relevant.
Yeah.
He starts in 85. He's still relevant in 2005. He's still selling out.
Yeah.
In 2005. So yeah, man. So but that again, that goes to the point that I was trying to make about you in the first place. Is I think if we all look back, we got parts of us in our past where we're going like, man, that doesn't look nothing like me now.
Yeah.
They hear that first, you know, I don't want them to read that. I don't want them to see that. I don't want them to hear that. So, like I said, I'm starting to get the story now, so it makes a whole lot of sense. But yeah,
you know what?
Go ahead.
Can I say this about the Pac thing? What's so crazy about Pac to me and Biggie and those kids that died at the age that I am now, 25. I'm gonna just say it like this: like, in my honest opinion, I would have been the 2022's Tupac had I made it the way that I seen myself making it 2 to 3 years ago, maybe even 4. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's because as a young black man, even if you're super intellectual, you have your own mind, you have a lot of anger towards the things that you're saying that you don't agree with, right? And you have a lot of anger towards once you start learning that your lifestyle and the way you were raised wasn't 100% healthy, and it wasn't copacetic for you. It's a lot of anger, especially at, you know, your parents, your community, the people around you. You start becoming paranoid. And I think that is I've watched all of the documentaries of all the greats, honestly. And I watch and I've read so much because I like to read when it comes to the things that I love. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't like to read when it comes to stuff that I don't like. You know what I'm saying? But if it got something to do with science fiction or hip hop or acting or anything that has to do with helping my mental go to another level, I'll read it, you know? So, and I think that Pac was the same way. The more I watched, you know, how he was and how he was raised, and he was highly attractive. He was dark skinned. He was tall. You know, he had a lot of pressure on him. He was young. And the only thing I keep thinking is if I was Pac, I would have waited. And that's probably why, in my opinion, I have not dropped anything in the last 2 years, really, that I think that I would want to promote, you know. And I think that in 2017, 2019, when I was dropping my original stuff, and Dr. Blanchard was just talking about this, the transition of trying to be all conscious and then do secular music and then forget certain things. I think Pac didn't get the chance to do what I did, which was take a break from music for a minute, let him see his real life, and see where it could be dangerous for him. You know what I'm saying? And I think that I had a lot of those same experiences, and I feel bad that that's what ended up happening. But yeah, Pac will always be missed and revered as one of the goats of this game. So
yeah, I mean, you said a thing, and I think that what I try to take out of these type of encounters is a revisitation of where I was at your age, and look at it in the same way when I'm dealing with my kids. It's like, okay, you're parenting from where you're supposed to be parenting from, but are you understanding from where you're supposed to be understanding from? Because you can't relate to them. You can't relate to them because you're seeing something from a position they've never even experienced. So I can't get there. I have to go back and say, what was I thinking? And I'm like, yeah, I was thinking some crazy stuff back then. I was moving like this. I had a temper. You got to remember that you've had some times where you could have easily been out of here. And if I'm honest with myself, there are a couple times, I should have been gone, and I'm here. And so when I look at situations like that, it's like a path that no matter how gifted you are, unless you're one of the few that were born in an affluent home, your path to greatness came through struggle.
Yep.
And so in that struggle are choices. And I said this other day that it is not the conditions and circumstances of life that determine your destiny. It is the decisions you make.
Yep.
And all it takes is one wrong choice. Pop, don't get in that car.
Man. And that's
Stay in your room.
That's really what I was alluding to. I didn't want to say it like that, but it's like
that one choice. Biggie, don't go to LA. Just one choice that I did. But see, when you're 25, you still think you're invincible. And you got to really look at Pac. Pac had been shot 6 times already.
Yeah, he thought
he's thinking, ain't nothing can kill me. And so you got these things that you have to move through. You have to make these choices. And people ask me, how did you go from being that person who had no problem being violent if you felt threatened or challenged or whatever the situation was? How did you go from that to being this person that's constantly speaking to Black men about not being violent? I said, speaking of, this is one of the guys that I actually mentor. I'm gonna have to hit him later. But it was simple. My firstborn changed everything. It went from me not caring whether I lived to knowing I needed to live because I wasn't going to leave him behind.
Because you had something to live for.
Something bigger than me.
Bigger than you. Bigger. And I said this, and this is so crazy. I got a great mom. I think it's because my mother that I'm able to come back to equilibrium. Because, man, the stuff you are talking about, I thought I was invincible when I got off Broadway. Let me put it like this. Like, and I started to realize why Pac and all of these people have their demise. You get all of this shine, right? You get all of this shine, you get all of this like prizes and people telling you what you're gonna do and how you're gonna do it and you're gonna be a superstar. Everybody wanna see you, everybody wanna see you make it, right?
Right.
Until you fuck up. Until you do something that they don't want you to do. Today you do something that they wouldn't agree with. Now it's, what are you doing? 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 And I'm looking back at Pac and I'm thinking about like the rape case. And I'm thinking about all the stuff he was going through at that time, right? And I'm thinking about all his friends and he even says in the testimony, he says, I did not start or initiate any raping or anything. That young lady came on to me. My friends got to doing shit with her. That she was okay with the whole thing and then told me to come along. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening to him, like, defend himself. And the only thing I'm thinking is they don't give a fuck about what you're saying, Pac. You are Tupac. You are the person that's supposed to do the right thing at all times. It doesn't matter if you were drunk or you didn't know that they were raping or you didn't know what was going on. You are held responsible because you the guy that everybody looking at. And once you realize you're young and there's 40 and 50 and 30 and 40-year-olds looking at you and saying that you should be responsible for something that they didn't even want to take responsibility for years. And I'm literally looking at Tupac like, y'all looked at this man like he was a god, like he was like here to save y'all, like the Messiah. And it was adults who were looking towards him for saving, for you know what I'm saying? And I feel like as a young kid, if you think about it, Dr. Rick, the anger you had, he had it at 100 times that level, because it's like, I'm young, I don't get to be young no more, because now everybody looks and reveres me as a person that should be able to teach and lead, right? And now I'm learning how to deal with my emotions and deal with who I am as a person. And it's a great thing I have my mother. And I don't have nobody. That Pac didn't have nobody like that. As much as I like his mom, you know, and you know, I like you know Pac, and I don't like Suge. I'm gonna be honest with you, but whatever. The people that was around him to and you know motivate him were there. He didn't have an influence around him that was purely like, you know, out of the music, out of all of the entertainment that could go, yo, you forgetting to be human. You know what I'm saying? You're forgetting that you don't have to fight. You don't got to be gangster. You ain't got to, you know, yell all the time. You need to sometimes look for peace instead of conflict. And I think if my mother wasn't there, I would literally be in the same predicament as Pac. I mean that in every word.
One of the questions that Pac's asked in one of his lyrics is, will there ever be peace? And the question, I think that every Black man, if we're honest with ourselves, we face. I did a video yesterday that I uploaded, and it was basically, if I had to give it a theme, it was, I'm concerned. I'm concerned because I'm looking at, and what I said in this video that I uploaded was, I'm concerned because God has gifted us in ways unimaginable, and we have not done anything with the gifts. And when I was talking about the gifts, I was talking about Malcolm, Martin, Medgar, Marcus Garvey, Carter G. Woodson, Asa Hilliard, John Henrik Clark, Dr. Naeem Akbar, Dr. Amos Wilson, Dr. Khalid Muhammad, Neely Fuller Jr., Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, Dr. Joy DeGraw, I mean, Dr. Umar Johnson, Dr. Boyce. I mean, just so many minds bringing so much heat, so much level, and you know, book after book after book after book, lecture after lecture after lecture after lecture. Most of them dying poor and haven't given everything, and we are still in last place. We still have 40% home ownership from the 60s. No improvement. We have actually experienced a widening of the wealth gap.
Yep.
All of the leverage arms we have, all of the knowledge we have before us, and we still aren't taking it serious enough to invest ourselves in change. We're still allowing them to pull the levers and send us the information that sends us in the wrong direction. We are literally biting on the misinformation biscuit, and we will not stop nibbling. And when I look at it, that's frustrating. I get where he's at. You can't who said it? James Baldwin. To be Black and be slightly conscious in this country is to be in a constant state of rage.
Yep. Basically.
You can't be aware of what's going on and it not bother you, because you're seeing it every day. Every day you're walking out there and you're looking and you're going. And then you're sitting up saying, well, here's the solution. Oh my God. Black men are doing this. Black men are doing it. Black boys are getting, and there's so much violence, and they're doing this and doing this. Here's the solution.
What's so crazy is there is no fucking solution if we all don't agree with it. And this is something that I've always thought, man. Like as a rapper, as an actor, as a person that people look up to, which is so crazy. I'll get to that in a minute. But if you're conscious, if you're aware, if you are aware of what's going on, if you are aware and you're not just spending your weekends getting drunk, getting high, if you are aware and you start realizing, if you just walk outside and see how people just interact with each other, communicate with each other, love on each other, and that is really bizarre. A person like me who has a lot of passion, a lot of creativity, a lot of intellect, can see what is going on, that it does not make sense. It is angry. It's like anger. It's like, yo, can you hear me? Can you hear that at the end of the day, what's going on, what you're doing, you're poisoning yourself. It's kind of like a metaphor. I read 3 men locked up in a cave, right? And they're staring at a wall, a fire, and giving a picture of what life is, right? They stay in that cave their entire life, right? And then one day they're freed, and they turn around and they can see the real sun and see all of the grass and everything that's happening, and they don't just see the little stick figures that's in the cave no more. Maybe one of them goes, well, let me go see what this is, right? But the rest of them are just like what I think is going on with our Black community. They're stuck. They're stuck in this understanding that this is real life, not that. That's not real life. I don't know what that is. I don't want to know what that is. That's not who I am. That's not where I was raised from. This is my life. This is what I know. It's like being a gangster. I remember being a gangster. I remember on the streets, we had to sell cocaine. I hear older people, 30 and 40 and 50, that's still traumatized from those times, tell me dumb shit like, oh man, we this is how we had to be back then. So that's why I am how I am now. No. That is what you were taught back then. So that's what you took back then. And now you need to learn a new way to live this way so that you can teach your kids so they can stop wilding about how to be emotionally available and emotionally intelligent so that we can get our finances up, our communities up, and actually go back to real hip hop and not all this mumble shit. And that's what I'm trying to do. That's my mission. Okay, but go ahead.
Yeah. No, I mean, you pretty much said it. The whole idea is there's a thing in psychology we talk about that's a pretty common statement that a lot of people use, but it says perception is reality. And a lot of people don't understand what that means. That means that the mind creates your reality. That's the truth. You are what you think. You create and manifest what you think most, whatever your thoughts consume. So what the enemy understands is that if I can flood their thoughts with what I know is unproductive, they consume it, it becomes their reality. They believe poverty is their lot in life. They believe the only way out the hood is to slang dope. They believe or be an athlete or an entertainer. They don't think about becoming a lawyer, a doctor, an entrepreneur, a banker. They don't think about it because we're not going to show them that. We're not going to let them have access to that. We're going to target them early in life. We're going to target their boys with disproportionately referring them to special education at elementary as early as the kindergarten. 5 years old, we're going to start saying they got ADHD and oppositional defiant disorder, and then we're going to over medicate them with psychotropic drugs like Ritalin, Vyvanse, Concerta, Norvax, and Adderall. Why? Because when we flood that in, now we got them on a Schedule II drug that is highly addictive, that really serves no other purpose but what we're using it for. But most of them aren't actually suffering from ADHD. But we're going to pump it in them anyway. We're going to make them docile. They'll sit still in school. What we're doing, though, truly is alienating them from the academic and the educational process. And what we know is a large percentage of them are going to completely fall off and drop out of school before they get their diploma. What does that mean? They become 5 times more likely to what? Go to prison. Yep. So now by the 3rd grade, we can start calculating how many prison beds we need because prison is now big money. So now not only do we now have them in the home and in the community, we have them in prison, institutionalized them into another type of behavior that says that 77% of them, even when they're released, will recidivate because they can't get the programming out of their head. Then we're going to program the women to feel they're not beautiful. We're going to program them with the Eurocentric idea of what's beautiful. We're going to program with the idea that if you're lighter complected, you're beautiful than the dark complected sister. We're going to create colorism within their own community. So now they don't have to deal with white folks. They beefing with each other behind complexion. And we can go on and on and on and on of the different ways they're flooding us. Then we got our top so-called hip-hop people, which they're not. We got them telling us about Molly's and Percocets and
stupid ass shit,
all this stuff like this.
I'm sorry, excuse my French. It's stupid.
And promoting all type of misogynistic behavior. We don't respect our women. We don't love our women. We don't know how to treat our women. We don't have a clue of what a man is. We're allowing everybody to define manhood for us. So hip hop lost its power because we allowed them within the very thing we created to contend with them. They saw the power of it, and they usurped the power by bringing their money into it. And what are you going to tell a kid that comes from poverty and his mom is struggling and scratching, and he gets up there and they tell him, we're going to give you a $500,000 signing bonus. But when you come here, you can't spit that conscious stuff. You're on the hood, you're on the block spitting. I got some lyrics for you. You're going to have to talk about hitting some holes and doing this and busting caps and wetting and all this other stuff that's been the darn lingo down the line. And we'll put it out there and we'll pay you. We'll send you on tour. We're going to make you a millionaire.
I let that go. Man, it's so crazy. Man,
yeah.
What?
How many kids do you know come from poverty, got enough of an identity to sit up and say, no, I'm not rolling like that? One of the things, and I'm going to let Doc take it from here. One of the things that Doc has always said, that if I would flip the script on my platforms and start talking about some of the BS that a lot of other people out here talking about, I would have subscribers falling off the thing because I have the gift of gab.
That's right.
But he says he won't do it. He knows it. The first thing I did when I listened to your John, I'm like, I hit him up. I was like, please tell me this more to this kid than what I just heard. And he was like, yeah, man. I said, well, you got to take it because I can't feed that to my people because they're going to look at me and say, how could you come at me today with this and tomorrow you showing me this? And so I know it's a story, but I don't know the story. So when Doc says I got him, I say, well, I'm going to trust you. Let's get on. Let's bring it. But you got to take the lead. And I knew. You saw me. I sit back in the cut. Then I say, there he goes. That's the kid I'm looking for right there. Mm-hmm. And then I jump on, and now you can't shut me up because I'm where I'm supposed. Now I know there's more to this kid than that one video.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you what I can tell you is being from this background and having dealt with it for so long, I can tell you that you won't have no problem getting major money to back a video where you are using misogynistic terms, referring to women, talking about money and all that. Yeah, you won't have no problem with that. Come out with something where you're talking about empowerment and your lyrics literally are the blueprint of the empowerment. They're not only not going to back you, they're going to try to find a way to blackball you, blacklist you. Why? Because you're a threat. That's the thing you got to look at is if you're not perceived by a threat by the enemy, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing.
On me. And that's art. And that's the thing. I think that oh man, Mr. Blanchard, go ahead. That's art. Go ahead. That's art for a reason.
Man, I don't know. Hey, I don't know how to follow Dr. Wallace because he just spit some serious knowledge. One of the questions I did have for you though was being a young person and having the early success that you've had, man. How do you stay fresh? How do you stay focused? How do you stay distraction free with managing family and work? How do you do that, man? Because that's got to be very tough, because you and I were going back and forth about getting you on the show, and I know your time is very valuable. You had a lot of things going on. How do you manage all of that? Because that's tough. Because like you said earlier, you got people coming at you. People see the talent that you have. People see the success you have. They don't see everything that you've been doing since you were 9 to get there. Yeah. They see the instant. They see the instant gratification. But you've been doing this a long time. So how do you stay fresh and focused, man? Where you don't burn out? Because like I said, you're taking two very challenging arts, music and acting, and you obviously want to be the best ever at both of those.
Mm-hmm. That's why it says goat on my shirt. But no. How do I? There's only one way. How? I got up there. I go every morning and I read my Bible. Actually, I'm on the Bible app right now. I'm on the street. I got 126th Street right now. I'm mad because I should have all the days of this year, but I missed this one Saturday. I was so upset with myself. But it is what it is. God is the only way. I feel like if you don't have a real connection with God and you really don't continuously try to get back to your family, and you're so focused on becoming the GOAT that you forget you are ready to go. So people will wait on you anyway. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to rush to get the money and the stardom that I always look at it like this. Like, my family struggled my entire life until now. And I think that just looking at it, I feel like whether or not they're going to struggle or not was inconsequential. So me trying to rush to do something that was probably going to sell my soul or give somebody, power over me, like Dr. Rick just got done talking about. I got approached by Def Jam in the year 2017, and it wasn't the label themselves. It was an A&R that they had that worked for them. And he had saw me at a show, and he told me about this 360 deal stuff. And he said some of the very same similar things that he just spoke on. Like, hey, you got to rap like this. You got to say it, talk like this in order to, what I'm saying, make it. And I was like, nah, I'm good. You feel me? And he had never understood why. He like, man, your mama's struggling with bills. I know you ain't got much money no more after that acting stuff. I know the money running dry. There's nothing wrong with, getting a deal. And just, you can make your own albums after this next 2-3 years. And I'm 21. I would have been out by now, which would have been nice, right? But I think that if I had done that, man, what I'm blaming my other rap people for, I would have been a culprit of. I think that as a young man, you get entrenched by the weed in the vagina. Yeah, let's not say the other word. But you get the having sex and somebody car your car. It's like a loud ringing. Y'all hear it?
Yeah, I think it's gone now.
There it is.
Yeah, we can hear you.
God is the only way. You have to pray. You gotta keep yourself intellectually sound. You gotta be a good person. I attract a lot of good energy now because I give back. I do things for others. I actually care about what you do, and I'm not just focused on becoming the greatest actor. I already have done that, and my focus is staying on just bettering myself as a person. There's no way I can become a better actor or rapper if I'm not living my life, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I'll be talking about the stuff that I wanted to do at 21, which was have sex and get money, if I don't actually get out in the world and realize what love is, realize what, the power of, manifesting things. And, it's just, like I said, like it's real life. Like, just God, man. If you don't got that connection to him, you're going to be distracted. That's all I say. That's the only thing that'll help you through this. There's no way to escape the devil. The devil runs the air. If you read anything about the Bible, the devil runs the air. Bad energy runs this entire world, from sex trafficking to drugs to the governments, right? So everybody can be distracted. You could be an industry person, a lawyer, a doctor, and be super in the matrix. I think that the only way you get out the matrix is you realize that a lot of religion is made up, a lot of things are made up, a lot of things that you think are right are made up. Even the Bible in some ways are made up, right? So you gotta always have that own personal connection to God. Always keep yourself open to learning others, not thinking that your way is right and another person's way is wrong, and start realizing that everybody has a process. And once you become a leader that can have the serenity to accept the things you cannot change, the courage to change the things you can, and the wisdom to know the difference, you become the type of leader that people can look up to and trust to be themselves around you, so they can open up and we can be at peace. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only way. That's the only way. There's a lot of stress, a lot of shit. If I don't, excuse my French, a lot of stress, a lot of things going on in life that could really cause you to break down. If you have that connection to God, you love yourself, you continuously are dwelling in understanding of others, you won't have that problem because you'll understand to have healthy boundaries and to keep moving forward.
Hey, Robert, I want to ask you, if you had a unlimited budget and you could produce your own movie series, what type of content would that look like? What would you do? You
A
had a
Time
movie.
to Kill. A Time to Kill. I already have it in my mind. You ever seen Time to Kill with Samuel
Absolutely.
Jackson?
Samuel Jackson, yeah.
I would do a rendition of that, and I would explain so much more shit, so much more things. There are so many more things that need to be explained about that movie and about what's going on in real life, about how the justice system is made up. Like Dr. Rick just got on saying, the whole understanding of how drugs and everything is being pushed. There should be a time to kill. I think that at some point you need to know when to hold them and when to fold them, and when to fight back and when not. And I feel like we don't fight back nothing. Everybody else in this world that has a country knows that there's a revolution gonna happen if you do too much, right? Or the people gonna rise up. For hundreds of years, my black people have never rose and did nothing but keep getting killed up in Black Wall Street. We tried it in the 1900s with the Black Panther Party. We tried our hardest, and they literally just they Bigfoot stomped on us. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's exactly what happened in that movie. That's exactly what happened to his daughter. There was a dude that just thought he was just gonna get away with something just because, he was a different color. And I think I would change it up from being white versus black to power versus poverty. And I think that A Time to Kill, in my opinion, would be it would culturally shock everybody. And I think that the way I would do it would show how the systems and powers hold things, and basically make it where you can't do something like a dystopian future. And that as black people and as people of poverty, there has to be a certain understanding that if this is the life that we keep living and pushing towards, there will be chaos. No order, it becomes chaos. And if it's continuous manipulation, it's chaos. So that's what I'd do. If I had an unlimited budget, I would, for real, put on a short film backed by a soundtrack that I made myself. Um, I would probably push the whole fuck fair understanding. That's my brand that's coming out now that we get into this. I have a brand that's coming out called Fuck Fair. It's literally saying life is not fair, but that don't mean that you're not good. You know what I'm saying? Life isn't fair, but there are things to be grateful for. You're still alive. You got two hands, you got 2 feet, you got 2 eyes, you got power in your bones to keep moving. I think that's what I push. That's what I push.
Is there any content that you won't do as an actor? Is there anything that's just totally off limits for you?
No gay stuff. Sorry. Nothing against the LGBTQ community. I feel like it's just uncomfortable to ask somebody to do something that's not of their sexuality, to pretend to do it as somebody else that does have that sexuality. You know what I'm saying? I think, yeah, you can do it. You can do it if you want. Everybody should do what makes them feel comfortable, but you should also not do the things that make you feel uncomfortable, and that makes me feel uncomfortable. So yeah.
Your mic is off, Doc.
I think that's what the buzzing sound is. Yeah, it was buzzing the whole time too. It's gone now.
Your mic is still off. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can
That's
hear
right.
you now. Yeah, we can hear you now.
And plus, I'm about to come out with a love tape, man. It's called Safe Word. It's gonna be a tape for women to feel like
Okay, there
we
we
can
go.
talk about them in other ways than just how big their booty is. I think that
Or is it a song or is it spoken word? Which is it?
it's a little bit of both. There's a little bit of spoken word in the album. It's going to be a live recorded album at one point, but of course you can stream it on platforms and things like that sort because the tracks are done. But yeah, it's going to be about loving women and loving them for who they are, and you know, it gets sexual, but at the same time, it's not sexually explicit to make you want to just, pop a perk and go have sex. You know, it's more or less like loving, like 2000s rap, like Mary J. Blige type stuff. You know what I'm saying? So,
What other things are you working on the film side or the television side? Where can we view you at coming up over the next year or so? What are you going to be doing? Anything coming up?
Honestly, I had a couple things with Hulu and a couple things with independent film that I just got done doing not too long ago that's going to come out. Got a new agent just a couple months ago, so a lot of things are really fresh. Power is something that my agent has been pushing me for a lot. So you see me on Power next year. I think that the other thing that I have going is I did just get contacted by Adam Arkin's assistant again, so I can talk to him again because I did do an episode with him on Next. So yeah, I mean it's a lot of stuff that but really the thing that I'm doing right now is learning. So I'm going back to Second City. Second City is a really revered program here in Chicago that Jim Carrey, Will Ferrell, a lot of different people have been to. And I wanted to get into a little bit of that and learning character acting and things of that sort so that I can hopefully I hope you, Casey, have these doctors on your advisory board. Yeah. These doctors are definitely on my advisory board from now on. They gonna be my eyes and ears. Cause shoot, the more they teach me, the more I stay myself out of trouble. But
yeah, we're definitely gonna keep in touch, man. We definitely will. Any time you need a resource or a listening ear, I'm gonna make sure you have Dr. Wallace's number. You have mine. Man, it's been enjoyable to talk to you. I know Doc has enjoyed it as well. You redeemed yourself as Kid Conscious for sure.
I lost the name.
You are Kid Conscious. You definitely are.
You good.
Look. I promise you this. This is what I promise you. And don't tell nobody this. For all y'all watching, don't tell nobody this. This is what I promise you. In the year 2023, my name is not Kid Conscious, it's King Conscious now, by the way. There will be an album that I drop that has a lot of politically pushed things that I'm definitely going to tell you my viewpoint. I'm going to definitely be enemy of the state. But I'm going to have a marketing team behind the Lyrical Lemonade, things of that sort. A lot of people that you already know, big timers. I'm going to have them push it. And like you said, I might be the notorious KC for a reason. That's my Instagram name for people that don't know that. I might be notorious for a reason, but I'm okay with it. I'm all right with being the villain if I'm doing the right thing. I'm okay with being the person that people either love or hate. I'm okay with it. Any love or hate is really, in my opinion, love. So if you care that much about me to hate me, that means you love me. So and that's cool with me. Hate me to love me if you got to, but that's next year. I'm gonna really earn back my name. How about that? That's my promise.
Well, we definitely look forward to it. We definitely need the exuberance and the vigor of youth to take the torch. I'm at that point where I said I would be passing the torch at 55, and that's where I'm at. And I'm gonna shut it down on my end with a bounce back to your mention of fuck fair. I think one of the biggest blocks that we have as a people in whole, and especially when I listen to our children, one of the first things my kids want to holler when something doesn't go that way is that's not fair. That's not fair. And I guess if I could say it the way I want to say it, that's probably what I was say, fuck fair, because the truth of the matter is life isn't fair. And I think one of the biggest inhibitors and one of the biggest problems we have as people is thinking life is fair and then being totally blown away when we find out that it's not. You don't get on in life because life is fair. You get on in life because you refuse to quit.
That's
It's
right.
that simple. And so that's the thing, man. Stay focused. Make up in your mind who you're going to be. Don't let nobody define you. Because you have to live with who you are. Nobody else has to do it. Mommy, nobody. You have to live with who you are. And at the end of the day, my question is always this: are you good with who you are? If you were to die today, are you good with the person you've become and the road you've traveled? Not have you not made any mistakes, but have you left an impression on this world that says, I came to make it better? And if that's what you've done, you're good, but you got to travel it. So don't let anybody tell you how to do it, who you are. You got to have it. And if you do something and you say, okay, this is what I am over here. In hip hop, I get it. I don't have a problem with the partying, the bopping, the loving on the honeys, all of that. But I have to see the balance in it because, like you say, our favorite guy, LL, he's over here. He's loving on the honeys. He's doing all this, but he's got a joint that probably most people don't hear. If you ain't heard it, check it out. It's called "I Can't Think," and it was on that GOAT album in 2000.
I'm gonna have to go check that out.
I can't think, and he's spitting it. He's telling you, man, the stuff that's going on. And he says, "I can't think," and so it's all over the place, man. So be you. Like I said, I have no problem being a source or a resource. That's where I'm at right now. I'm trying to pass torches. I'm trying to pass the baton. I've put in the work. I've been 30 years deep in this. I've been doing this conscious stuff since high school. So I'm tired. I'm tired, man.
I'm tired.
Trying to get people to give. When you're sitting up and say, here's the blueprint, we can literally change the lives of young Black men. That's awesome. That's awesome. Can you give? Whoa. And after a while, man, you're sitting up going like, and then when you have a mind that you could be off somewhere doing something for you and your family and just blowing up and saying the hell with it, but something inside of you won't let it go. That's where I'm at right now. I'm at that place, man. But I love to see young cats like you. Like I got to call this young brother back. He's a little older than you. I think he's about to turn 28, and I've been working with him for a while. We meet every Saturday, and he's not the only one, man. I got cats coming, and I love it because these are the cats I'm handing batons and torches to. So you got your gift. Question is now, what you gonna do with it?
I'm gonna make the world, I ain't gonna say a better place. I'm gonna make the world a more aware place. I cannot tell you that I'm gonna make it a better place because that expectations, I think it's just way too high. I think what I can do is I can do my best to be a great leader, great example, and I'm going to treat my people with respect and love. I think that my due diligence, and because I don't want to be your messiah. And I think that's what happens with a lot of superstars, even from Michael Jackson. That's something we were talking about at his house, Mr. Blunt, Dr. Blanchard. People revered him like a god, like a person that couldn't be touched, but yet he was going through so much stuff, so much stress, so much turmoil, that no one paid attention to him as a man. And he kind of became a human sacrifice for us to believe that if we go as hard as him, we accomplish all our dreams. And I think that I don't want people to believe that. I want people to believe that you don't have to be Michael Jackson to still love who you are and love your life and think that you're successful. I think the most important thing I can do is bring perspective and awareness. That's all I care about doing. So yeah. And showing them that there's a good person. Yeah, there's a good person that cares about you. That's another thing. Hopefully they get that already. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely, Rob. We should always leave people better off than we found them. That's what I try to do, do no harm, at least, you know.
No,
Right.
no harm, no harm. No, 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 no. I don't. Mm-mm. I mean, I'm still young, y'all. So the wisdom that I have is going to be limited to either what I learn or from what I experience, right? So I can only say I'm gonna keep leading by doing my best at all times and always pushing God. That's why I'm always gonna push God. I'm always gonna push in intellectual understanding. Go learn some more and don't kill up nobody. Put the guns down. Yeah, I'm 100% with that. Put your guns down, dude. I've never rapped about guns. Now I rap about having sex, going to parties. That is fun. That's fun. That's good, y'all. Y'all can do that. Stop. Put your guns down, dude. No one cares that you got a Glock 45 9mm and you could pop them in the head. No one cares. We all can do that. That's all the thing. Let it go, please, y'all. Let that go. That's all. Hey, that I don't know if everybody watching this, whoever is watching this, I'm gonna repost this on my Instagram. I'm gonna repost this one part for show. Put your guns down. No one cares that you're a gangster anymore. They not even cool. They not in style no more. No one cares about gangsters. Let it go. That's all I care about. But go ahead, y'all. I'm sorry. That was a passionate. That subject is passionate for me because I've seen so many of my homies get shot and so many of my families get shot over goofy stuff. We talk about stuff that in the moment, if you think about it 5 years from now, oh, that was small. But now it's not small because he dead. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead.
Yeah, we all know what's going on. Dr. Wallace and I, we've been working on trauma for the last 7, 8 years. We get calls from people that have been shot by the police, families of people that have been shot by the police. And we're going to be doing an upcoming show on police oversight to talk with a particular expert on that, So we definitely have a problem in that area as well, because like I said, Dr. Wallace and I get calls all the time from people that have tried to go through the system of police oversight and community relations and with police, and it doesn't work, That's why they're calling him to say, hey, we need help, And so, man, we appreciate you coming on, and you're passionate about your work, your art form, man. We're looking for big things from you. We'll have you back again, soon. You have our numbers, and just keep in touch, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man. You're an inspiration.
Dr. Blanchard and Dr. Rick, first of all, it was an honor meeting you today, Dr. Rick. I think that you're very smooth, man. Your personality is real laid back, real chill. You seem like the type of dude that listens more than he talks, and I like that. I love those type of people because they can always teach you something. Dr. Blanchard, you already know I know you how you kind of you do a lot of things professionally, and you're very passionate and very consistent. I think that's something that I don't get a lot. I get a lot of people who try to offer me a lot of stuff that they want to do with me, and then they're not consistent, and they try to last minute me, and then they schedule stuff. But you yourself, you very communicative. Hey, this is what we're gonna do. This is the time we're gonna have it. This is how we're gonna do it. I love that about you, and I would love to learn how to be more organized like you in that way. And thank y'all for having me. Thank y'all for having me, the peoples and Dr. Rick. Hey, Dr. Rick, let me say something to you. If you want to mentor me, man, my phone number, I'm going to give it to you, man. Mentor me, dog. I mean, I don't know nothing about this industry. All I care about is making the music and making people hear what I said. You know what I'm saying? That's all I care about. So I want them to hear me.
Doc going to get you everything you need to get in touch with me, man.
Absolutely. And I'll text everything to you. Email, phone number, all that.
I'm definitely going to be available to you. So that's for sure. So again, it's about passing on wisdom, experience, insight, and the challenge. I think that's the part we miss sometimes. The challenge is be better than me. Be more impactful than me. Something you said, and then we're going to jump off of here. Something you said is, I don't know if I can say I'll make the world better. Let me tell you something. If you make yourself better, then the people you come in contact with become better. If you make 5 people better and you infect them with your passion, that infection says they're contagious. That contagiousness is then passed on as they come in contact with people. When you look up, you may have touched the lives of 5 people, who touched the lives of 10 people, who touched the lives of 100 people. Before you know it, 1 million people have been changed because you made a move. Don't ever underestimate your power to change the world. So what you are is going to be multiplied unless you're on an island by yourself.
Mm.
So always understand, by becoming better, I make people around me better. And by making people around me better, I make the world better. It doesn't mean that you look up and you don't have to have a Messiah complex. You just got to know that your purpose is bigger than you.
Mm.
That's all you have to know, is your purpose is bigger than you. You're here. God didn't just place you here to be. God said he made you in his image, right?
Right.
Then that means you're a reflection of God. Do you think walking around playing smart reflects God well? No. That's why when you say you the GOAT already, I'm like, yeah, talk that shit. Why? Because you keep talking it, your mind is gonna say, wait a minute. Shit, I am that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, you start to walk different. Now, when you speak with a force that people listen. Your confidence is what's going to make people fold into you or move away from you. So always own that purpose. That purpose will push you through a bunch of pain that's meant to shut you down. So I'm going to leave you with that. So everybody, thank you for stopping in. Thank you for listening. We're going to keep bringing the heat in the coming weeks. We're going to bring knowledge. We're going to bring power. We are going to do some things. In closing, if you believe in the work we're doing, support the work we're doing. The links are in the description box. Ask how you can help if you want to be directly involved. But what we can't do is sit around and do nothing. On that note, I'm out of here. Thank you, brother, for coming in. I'll be looking forward to talking.